loves, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. Hello, I am not normally this up close and personal with the camera, but today I'm going to be talking about foundation, and specifically a foundation dupe that I recently discovered. And I really wanted to put these like to the test, do one half of my face high-end, one half with the drugstore version, really just to show you how similar that they truly are, as well as any differences. So really quickly down below, let me know which one do you think is the high-end version and which one do you think is the drugstore version. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts, and you don't have to post your comment until the end of the video. I just want to like hear your votes, you know what I mean? In terms of the foundations in question, the high-end version is the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Foundation. If you watched my massive, I think it was like a 40-minute Sephora haul a couple of weeks ago, I will link that down below if you haven't already caught up. It's just a bunch of new high-end products that I'm trying. I was really excited to try out this foundation in particular because everyone says that it's so super thin, but it gives a ton of coverage. And of course, that's what we're all after. So I tried it out, immediately knew that I loved it, and didn't even think about it, just thought it would go into a favorites video or something. And then I found this new Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. I know a lot of people have already talked about this. In specific, I saw Jeffree Star do a video on it. I saw Tati, Glam Life Guru, do a video on it. So instead of just telling you how good it is, because I know you've already probably heard some positive reviews, I wanted to put these two products head to head because immediately when I applied this, I noticed that it felt very similar to the Marc Jacobs foundation in terms of being so super lightweight. But really, I wanted to see how the coverage compared, because while this is a good foundation, it feels really nice on the skin, it feels super lightweight, it also has that insane coverage. So really quickly, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the demo, and I'm gonna be showing you kind of in real time how long it takes to blend these out and how similar they really are. So yeah, if you wanna see that, then let's get into it. So to keep it fair, I never do my foundation without a primer. So today I'm gonna be using the Makeup Forever Hydrating Primer. My face is always super dry, so anything that can put a bit of moisture back in for me is what I normally turn to. The brush I normally like to use for foundation is this Tarte Kabuki brush thing. I think that they still sell this at Sephora. And in between foundations, I'm going to be just cleaning it off using my little Sephora Daily Brush Cleaner. We're gonna start off with the Marc Jacobs foundation first. Now, as you can see, my hyperpigmentation is a bit like not symmetrical, obviously. So I have a lot more on this side and a little bit less on this side. It's kind of why I want to do the drugstore version on this side, to show how it can be built up. Meanwhile, you'll really see, I do still have some marks and stuff, how this one built up as well, obviously. So they obviously both have that little wand applicator. I like to just dot this first, and then I'll kind of like spread it out and just make sure that I have enough, you know? I think that should be enough for that first layer. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my brush and just lightly start to blend that in. And I want to keep this in real time to show you guys how quickly, or maybe not so quickly, each foundation blends in. So something with the Marc Jacobs foundation is that I do feel like it literally just melts into the skin so quickly. And it's one of those products where I never see any kind of brush strokes or anything like that. I'll always kind of like follow up with my damp beauty blender when I do my concealer to blend out any brush strokes. And I do that with every foundation, but I really don't have to with this one because it just blends so seamlessly. I mean, that was like, what, 30 seconds? I don't know even how long it took to blend. But there you go. Just for the sake of seeing how well each foundation does build up, I am going to take a little bit more just for that second layer. You can see how much more it spreads out too. This is a very buildable product, in my opinion. You can go from quite natural to really full coverage. I mean, the second layer does take a bit longer to blend, maybe, than the first. Like a couple quick bounces on the skin, and it just looks so seamless. It just looks like my skin, but perfect. And I think that that's what's so cool about it. I'm a little bit red where I just wiped off that foundation. My skin is super sensitive. So now I'm going to move on to the drugstore version. It's a really liquidy product, just like the Marc Jacobs one. You've got that little spatula. I kind of like the applicator on here a little bit better, I'm not gonna lie. And since I always apply foundation to clean skin, I'll just go in with the spatula. I don't like spatula applicators, let me make that part clear. but I like it better than the one on the Marc Jacobs. Just so it gets no help from the high-end foundation, I did go ahead and just clean off my brush, and now I'm going to go in and blend away. And once again, I want to keep this in real time so you guys can see the blending process. Something you may notice off the bat is it doesn't perfectly match the Marc Jacobs foundation, but they are very, very close. This one's a little bit orangey, I'm not gonna lie. It also feels very thin, even more weightless than the Marc Jacobs foundation. However, as I'm kind of blending this in, and once again, you'll see like it doesn't take much to blend. When I come in with the mirror, I can see more brush strokes and not as much coverage as the Marc Jacobs foundation, at least not in one layer anyways. However, it feels even thinner than the high-end version. So that's just one really quick coat, and you can probably see off the bat, not quite as nice as coverage in that first layer, so I'm just going to go in and apply more. Obviously you can tell that they're not exactly the same shade. Once I have on bronzer and powder and all of that, you're not going to be able to tell that. It's a really minor difference. But here is this side. I certainly do have, as you could see, redness on this side of my face. Kind of took this under my circles just to show you how that covered. And I just feel like this not only really covers everything that needs to be covered and gives a flawless finish, it also is somewhat brightening to the skin. This side you can still sort of see my hyperpigmentation, and just for funsies, let's throw on a third layer of that just to see how it covers. I put on a little bit much, but we'll just see if we can really get that to a full coverage. And I would say that is a full coverage. I mean, you really can't see those acne marks. But what's nice about the Wet n Wild one is that, you know, within 2 layers, I can feel this foundation. This one, it's like I literally have 3 layers of foundation right here, and I don't feel cakey. I don't feel like I'm wearing a ton of product. With that third layer, I would say this is pretty well full coverage. And that is the drugstore side. So of course, I'm gonna go and set this off, do the rest of my makeup, get looking symmetrical, and I'll be back to tell you guys more thoughts. So what do you guys think? After they're all set, they look identical to me. I just took 1,000,010 selfies and posted some, and no one said, hey girl, you're wearing 2 different foundations. So I think that's probably a pretty good indication of how similar that they truly are, especially once, you know, you get them set and everything. Just a quick little heads up, I did wind up using today this Wet n Wild Photo Focus Pressed Powder in the shade Warm Light just to set everything off. And I have to say, I really, 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 really like this. I wound up putting on quite a lot of powder because I kept thinking, wow, this just looks so thin and like silky, and it has great coverage, but it also just feels really nice, and like, I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like a really nice powder on the skin, not too matte, not too anything. And I've been wearing this makeup, I wound up like running some errands and stuff for about 3 hours now in total, and I just feel like it set everything off really nicely. I have not touched up, I have not powdered since then, so here is just 3 hours of wear. Obviously there's no real difference in either side. But overall, my kind of thoughts on this, they're so similar. I mean, down to like the wand application, to the extremely thin texture, to the really, really full, flawless coverage, I think that they're really similar. Obviously, I did wind up using a bit less of the Marc Jacobs foundation, and a little bit more of this one just to like build it up and get it to full coverage, but honestly, I would have stopped after 2 coats for an everyday sort of look. With the Marc Jacobs one, I probably would have stopped after 1 coat, if we're being totally honest. I think that this one kind of brightens the skin a tad bit more. It almost like looks a little bit more luminous. I wouldn't say this is a dewy foundation by any means, but my skin just looks luminous and healthy and a little bit glowy. It's like that satiny sort of finish, whereas with this, I do feel like it's a bit more matte, not as much shine. The skin doesn't look quite as healthy. However, a lot of people, you know, when you're going through the motions and setting off your face and everything like that, like, does it really make that much of a difference? Especially when you're like me and you're taking powder to take away the glow on 99% of the face and then adding it back in with highlight. I don't know, just a little thought there. The other thing is that this foundation smells like paint. I can't explain it, and I haven't heard anyone else commentate on it, but it smells like paint to me. And it's not a super duper strong scent. I'm just sort of surprised I haven't heard anyone else mention it, and it almost makes me wonder if maybe I got a bad batch or something. But to me, this smells like paint, and it's not anything where it's super strong. When I put it on for the first time, I was kind of like, is this good to be putting on my skin? Because it smells like maybe I should be putting it on my walls. Again, it's something I haven't heard anyone else who's reviewed this commentate on, so I don't know if they just missed over it or if I got a bad one, who knows. If you have this foundation, let me know down below if yours smells a little bit off. It's not something that lingers by any means. I would say pretty much the second that it's on my skin and I'm done applying it, I don't smell it anymore, but it is something to note. I mean, and obviously with the price difference, this is $5, this is $55, there's gonna be some ingredient differences. Overall, I like them both, and I don't necessarily have a favorite. I just think that I like them for different reasons. I will go off the bat and say that this one still, after 3 layers, feels like I have nothing on my skin. And this one feels super lightweight too, but this one is even more so. It's like, wow, I'm really not wearing any makeup. Like, I touch my skin, it feels amazing. I feel like, especially after I set my makeup and stuff, they look really similar. This one is a bit more comfortable to wear. I don't have very oily skin. I work from home, and I mean, if I ever am running around, it's not like I'm doing it for 8 hours at a time. So in all honesty, I don't feel like I'm the best judge for wear, but I've worn both of these through filming nights when I'm sweating and stuff like that, and neither of them really had any kind of longevity issues with me, and neither of them got greasy or oily or anything like that, but I also have really dry skin, so I just wanted to throw that out there and be super honest. Overall, I do think that they're really similar, and if you wanted to try out the Remarkable foundation and you don't know if you would like this sort of insanely thin texture, because it is different from a traditional foundation or even like a BB cream sort of texture, it really does feel like a serum to the touch, and it's something that is a little bit of a learning curve. If you want to try out something like that and you don't want to spend $55, definitely pick up the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. If you guys are curious about shades, I am in the Remarkable 26 Bisque Medium, I think that is. It's actually really light because I consider myself more of like a light skin tone, and it pretty well matches me. And then this one is in the shade Soft Beige. It's a little bit on the orangey side, as you probably saw, but it's okay, especially once I have the rest of my makeup on. You get me. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I know it was kind of like, I don't know, just a little bit different. I've never done anything like this before, so if you guys want more videos like this where I put like drugstore and high-end products to the test, instead of just like reviewing individual products, like reviewing them as well as finding a dupe, I think is really cool, because it's not just like, here's this $104 foundation that I found, but like also, here's something that's comparable at $2. If you guys like this series, then give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you all so much, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!